This video is brought to you by the Think Like a Modern Man podcast. Check the links in the description in case you'd like to follow along with my new podcast. So let's get on to the video.
You said that why you watch gaming replays or gaming plays while people talk. What's that?
It's like a podcast.
Yeah, so that's basically what I'm doing now. I'm just collecting footage.
What's up, everybody? It's Ryan. Going to talk to you about whatever I feel like talking about, and that is Periscope. That's actually what's on my mind. Periscope's come out. I've been messing around with it, and since I haven't been able to post a whole lot because I'm trying to make more polished content. Actually, I don't even have time to make content for videos because I've been working on my nutrition diet book. So that's actually coming up too. It's called The Fat Burning Breakfast. I'll talk a little bit about that later in the video. But for those of you that are familiar with Periscope or have heard about it, it's been a little bit of a buzz. Seemed kind of silly, but I've been listening to a new podcast called the MF CEO, which stands for the motherfucking CEO. And it's pretty good. This guy's CEO, I don't know, he's just off the cuff, fucking real, and it's pretty cool. So in case you're interested in some of the stuff that I listen to, that's sort of what I listen to. I listen to a lot of business podcasts and stuff like that. So that's sort of been my thing lately. Anyways, he's been promoting Periscope, and I like this guy. And I've been messing around Periscope. So if you hop on, there'll be a link in the description if you'd like to kind of follow along with me on Periscope. I'll be randomly recording. I recorded myself. I was talking about dieting while I was driving home. What else is there to talk about? Yeah, I've just been spending all this time making this diet book. It's called The Fat Burning Breakfast. Essentially, it is a method of sort of eating, essentially working out and then eating. So, it sounds kind of simple, but it's a way to sort of track your calories. If it fits your macros, I really think it's sort of it's nothing like that because it's really about trying to eat better, for my clients mostly. So the reason why is because not everybody wants to count calories their whole life, and I don't mind counting my calories. All right, so this part we're going to be just chatting, me and Nas, and I'm going to continue talking whatever I was just talking about. But let's hear this part.
No, I meant when you were doing the squat. You said I thought your back or your traps were sore.
Yeah, it was just tight right here.
Oh, okay.
Just when I was trying to flex as hard as I can, it got really tight. It hurt more in the mid bar.
Wait, did you do that or that?
So I do that. So what I do is just I pinch. And then I squeeze down.
I see. Did you watch the Chris Duffin video?
Yeah. No. I got that from, I think it was the Ed Cohen video.
What's that called? I haven't seen Ed Cohen. Oh, that's right. You're right. I forgot what that. I first heard it at Chris Duffin.
I'm sure, the thing is, I'm learning more and more. A lot of the top lifters do a lot of the same thing.
They do.
Yeah. But it's just like, they just have different cues and stuff.
Yeah.
Different delivery processes.
I don't know, Chris Duffin's becoming my favorite.
Chris Duffin's awesome. I've been following on Instagram and stuff. I follow all his athletes now.
Yeah, he's legit.
I start trolling him, but he's not enough followers.
Yeah, he's not famous enough.
Not famous enough to troll. We like fucking going to a boxing match.
What happened to your gang? I thought you were getting gangster raps.
I missed the time for the free shipping, and so I'm waiting for another free shipping. So I'm waiting for them to list on Instagram. They got free shipping. Damn, because it was a Father's Day, I was gonna get it.
Oh yeah.
On Father's Day, they were doing free shipping.
Yeah, they always have a pretty good special.
Yeah, pretty good special. I want to get the gigs. But I kind of want to get wrist reps I can use for a lift work too. So I think I'm gonna just go with the rows.
They have the Katie Hogan ones.
Katie Hogan?
Did you see the coded Katie Hogan wrist wraps?
No, what is it?
The Hogan wraps.
Hogan wraps?
They're for Olympic lifting.
But they don't say gangster.
Yeah, but then you're gonna get gangster wraps. You can't use the same wraps for Olympic lifting for.
I want to. I'm gonna use it for part. Yeah, because I just use my.
Since the thing is gonna get stiffer and stiffer. That fucking bar.
All right, so Periscope, podcast, fat burning breakfast. What am I going to talk about first or continue talking about? It's, fat burning breakfast first. So essentially, it's a low carb breakfast. The premise of the diet is that you work out intensely, 10 to 15 minutes or 8 to 10 minutes. It's supposed to be an 8-minute workout, and then you train, and then you eat breakfast. You can have a bagel or a donut, sort of a way of essentially just using your metabolism to eat carbs and not worry so much about calories. Also, a way to sort of stack your calories or your carbohydrates in a way where you're less likely to gain fat. And I'm going to have more talking about that later. Wanted to talk about the podcast. We have a bunch of cool episodes coming up on, like, we have Fitbit. We talk about real estate. I have another friend that he's a real estate investor. We talk about dieting. We talk about religion. Talk about some movies. And I implore you to check us out on the Think Like a Modern Man podcast on iTunes. Subscribe. What else is there? I don't know. I got a few minutes here to talk. I mean, this video isn't the best or the perfect, but I got to get one video up. I put up my last video last week, and it was about my bag, which I don't particularly find interesting, but I made it anyway to test my audio equipment. So let's talk about something good. And what's that going to be? This is one take only, like as it's live, because I got to go to bed, but I want to render this overnight, and that way I can wake up and then upload it. So I want to talk about, what do I want to talk about? I don't know what I want to talk about. I want to talk about sarcasm. That's what I want to do. Because I'm a real sarcastic person. I'll make these jokes. And I got this client the other day. I was training her, and she uses a lot of sarcasm. And it's kind of fun because I'm very sarcastic too, and I can play off of her energy, and it's cool. But she also is kind of demeaning to herself. And you know what? It just made me realize, well, I know this already. I'm pretty demeaning to myself. And if you ever can reflect with this idea that you're sort of mean to yourself and you give yourself such a hard time, you begin to realize that it's not, well, hopefully you realize it. It's not productive. It's not effective. It just ruins your day, ruins your life. It makes you not move in the direction you want to. It slows you down. And I just, for whatever reason, I've been on Quora a lot, Quora.com, to answering questions for people, fitness questions, because it's been sort of fun. I don't know why, but I've been doing it. And I asked the question, why are people sarcastic? And a lot of it's because they want to essentially brush someone off. They want to cause conflict because they like it. It also has a lot to do with just basically about how you feel about yourself. And it's sort of, it's mean, you know, and when you're mean to yourself and you give yourself all this negativity, it's really a terrible place to be. And it makes you essentially devalue yourself. Of course, it's obvious. But the thing is that I've been becoming more self-aware, and as I've been growing more as a person, I don't know if you can tell, but I do. I can feel it. I can feel I'm changing. I can feel I'm getting better. I can see that the glass is now half full and not half empty. I have this negativity about myself that I'm just trying to sort of not eliminate, but sort of change and improve, because it's still there, because I can see and smell and hear undertones of people's negative energy, especially when they make comments on videos or when people talk to me, because I've been coaching, you know, for 15 years, working with people. I've also been mean to myself for like a really long time. You know, I was overweight, I was fat, I was depressed, you know, I lost my parents young. I had a pretty challenging life. I mean, not crazy challenging, but definitely to a point where, like, okay, I beat on myself enough. I have good enough life experience to sort of understand what people go through. And I can tell you that, you know, you really have to get your head out of your ass. You know, when you say negative things to yourself, a lot of the time, I know this is what people do. They say to themselves, you know, you should stop. Like what did this lady say to me? She said, oh, I suck, or I'm terrible, or I'm not going to work out, or if I don't lose weight, if I don't have seen any results in 30 days, or if these measurements suck, I'm going to hurt myself, or something, you know, just joking, right? Of course, it's just a joke, but I mean, reality is there's always a little bit of truth in every single joke, and there's got to become there's a point where you got to realize that when you do that to yourself, you are digging a hole. And it might not be like you're digging a grave, but you're moving towards digging yourself a grave, and you're making it difficult, because you eventually, if you ever want to make something of yourself or change or make improvements, you're going to have to get out of that hole. But at the same time, this is an entire life experience. And that's sort of, I guess, the part I want to say it's important, because I'm not here to eliminate or change necessarily who I am. I'm here to become better. I'm here to become a stronger and better person, a stronger version of myself. And that's sort of what, you know, the biggest thing when the Elliot Hall says is, when you're a stronger version of yourself, that touches with me so much. It makes me understand. This is one of the biggest things that I connected with Elliot Hall, is because I'm not trying to be like Dan Green. I'm not trying to be somebody else. Of course, I look to people as inspiration, these people that have business and people that have strength and athletics and whatnot. But I can't be that person, because I'm not that person. And a lot of the time I will compare myself to that person, and I think to myself, if I am not as good as that person, I'm terrible. And that doesn't make any sense, because these people are world-class athletes and I'm not even them. And my point of whole saying this is, look, you are you, and you have to be the best you can be. I don't know, this is the sarcasm, the negative thoughts, the snarky comments, not necessarily the stuff that you say to other people. It's the stuff, not even the stuff you say to yourself, it's the stuff you think. And you got to catch these negative thoughts, because if you don't, it will drive you into the ground. And a lot of the time, sometimes when you get in a bad funk, or when you're just in a bad place, or you find yourself being depressed, or you feel yourself not having motivation, a lot of it's because you're wearing down on yourself, and you can't necessarily hear what you're saying to yourself or what you're thinking, but it's become a habit so much that you can't even hear it. And you got to change that habit. And it starts by sort of being a little uncomfortable and beginning to and try to see that the glass is half full, and that there's a better life out there for you, a better positive message for you, that there's something there, something bigger and greater for you, that has a purpose for you to be a part of, whether it be something you build or something you help build. And that's what matters, is that it's to be a part of something. And that's why you're watching this video, you're watching this far into the video, you know? It means you're trying to connect with me, or you are connecting with me. And whether you agree or disagree with me, you're still connecting with me. And it's all right if you disagree. But leave a comment below and share your thoughts, because I try to answer comments. I just haven't had time. But on this video, I promise you, if you comment on this video, I'm going to comment within 24 hours of the comment. At least from the 1 week of posting this video. So anyways, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys on the next video.